Welcome back to the channel, folks. Welcome back to the end of week one, where my wife and daughter have gone on their annual girls trip and left me home alone, unsupervised. I have survived. If you watched last week's video, you saw that I was like day one into that and ready to pretty much burn this house to the ground, and I've survived. Only one near-death incident. The cleaning lady came. Love her. She's like family. She's the most amazing person in the world. And she cleaned up after my disaster and then left the gas on halfway, and while I'm upstairs started smelling something funny, came down and realized I was about to blow myself to smithereens. So I shut it off, opened up all the windows, and then sat in the backyard until I wasn't dizzy anymore. So only one close call where my wife would not have been surprised had I blown up the house. But again, I would have been surprised if she did the same thing. Also, check this out. So I'm probably gonna start with that because my wife asked me before she left if I wanted to go to the store, and I said, no, I don't need to go to the grocery store, I'm good, I'll survive, I'm a grown man. So what I'm left with here is a block of cheese, some olives with blue cheese in them, and some pickles, and 2 taquitos, which are probably expired, and a million eggs, and 3 bags of cheese, and some milk that I can't drink because I'm lactose intolerant. So now here's what happened. She said to me, while she was throwing all this food away before she left, that she was gonna throw away everything that was close to expiration so that I didn't get sick while she was gone. And then she said to me, doesn't it seem strange that I have to throw away all this food so that you don't kill yourself while we're gone? And I just said, doesn't seem strange that we need 9,000 eggs for 3 people in the house, and I went upstairs. So, looks like pizza night tonight again, folks. Just fine, because I will survive this. Next, you all, or some of you, gave me some heat about the battleship. It's not a battleship. I know that that is an aircraft carrier. You try to get everything right when you got a giant camera stuck in your face. That is an aircraft carrier. So I went ahead, folks, and shot some footage of the bug assault gun that I shared with you in the last video and the aircraft carrier. And then we're going to get into the content, which is the 6 reasons why I did not buy a Dodge Demon. So now let's check out this awesome bug assault gun. We're mounting a camera to the top of this thing. I'm putting the sucker in slow motion, and I'm going to show you some just gory details what this thing can do. And then we're going to take the aircraft carrier out to the pool. I'm going to show you how amazing that thing is. Then we're going to jump right in to the content. Watch this. Fly on the window. That's how it's done. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed my juvenile behavior. Now let's get into the 6 reasons why I didn't and you shouldn't buy a Dodge Demon. And I'm going to use some props to kind of get the point across before I get into the 6 reasons, and I'm going to do that by taking you all for a ride and having a little chat. But first, let's talk about just the financial aspect of this, and it's something that you can't ignore. When the Dodge Demon came out, the markup was ridiculous. Yes, if you're one of the first people that were able to order one and wait and buy it, I mean, maybe you got it for $85,000, but I've never met anybody that did. And anybody that did, turned out they were investors and they were flipping that car, putting it on eBay, selling it for $150,000. 2 went for auction, I remember, around $200,000, and I heard rumors that one went for $500,000. because they only made 3,000 of these things in the US in 2018 and 300 for Canada, and then they numbered them. So that suddenly made them very exclusive to only people who could afford them if you wanted to pay the markup. Otherwise, you had to be a genius to figure out how to get one. I've heard all the stories about how people got screwed, even by dealers in trying to buy these cars. So here's the actual math. In 2018, that car was going to cost you minimum of about $150,000. So a good representation of that would be $150,000. Today, that car is worth, today that car is worth anywhere. I saw one for 85, I don't think it's real, all the way up to 150,000, but that's not really what it's worth, it's what they're for sale for, and we're not seeing them sell for anywhere more than about $120,000. So today in 2020, you can buy a Hellcat Redeye with 797 horsepower versus what is it, the 808 in the Demon. And in my opinion, I'm going to share with you why it's a much better car for most people. And you're going to pay about $80,000 due to coronavirus. The prices are probably soft right now, so probably around $80,000, right around where I paid. A couple grand more than that. So $80,000 is right here. So that's $80,000 you pay for this car. If you want to buy a Demon, even today, you're going to pay $20,000, $30,000, upwards of $40,000 more for a Demon. So I want to make this really clear that I am not into burning cash, and I believe that the reason why the prices are fluctuating so much and why there's so many different prices being asked for on the internet for these cars is because people are reaching in trying to get their investment out of them. When you look at the mileage on these cars, 500 miles, 93 miles, these people bought them speculating they're going to make a ton of money. Now, if they got them for 85 grand, they're doing good, but if they paid 150, they burned a bunch of cash, which leads me to burning some cash. So let's see if this will work. Whoop, there we go. Let's see if we can light this on fire. Let's see if we can light $10,000 up. Make a point here. Get it going really good. Yep, it's on fire. Now, if you can't see it in the camera, this is burning. See the smoke? I'm going to keep the flame on it. And while you're all having a heart attack right now, this is not real money. This is motion picture money. So just had to have some fun with you all. But I still do believe that if you buy a Dodge Demon, you're burning cash. You're just burning it, and you're probably not going to get it back. So now let's talk about the 6 reasons why I didn't and you shouldn't buy one of these things. Part of it leads into this, but I think there's some really good information here I can share with you all. Let's go for a drive. Okay, so the first reason I didn't want to buy a 2018 Dodge Demon, when I went into this process of trying to decide what I wanted to do, because I believed that this was going to be my destination car. So I spent a lot of time and money traveling through the Dodge Challenger RT, as you've learned in my previous videos, to the Scat Pack with the 6.4 motor, and then I needed to go to the next car, and rather than continuing to skip through all the different models, I decided I'm going to go all the way to the top. So the top, by definition in Dodge, would be the Demon. So I started to do my research, and it dawned on me that one of the key principles I have in buying a car is that I want it to have a warranty. I want it to be covered. In case I do something stupid and the car breaks, I want it to be covered, because it shouldn't break even if I do stupid things. So the bottom line is in a 2018 Dodge Demon, you're coming up on the last year of your warranty, and that's it. Now, you can buy that car with no miles on it, with 500 miles or 90 miles. I saw some for sale. Bottom line is 3 years, that sucker's out of warranty, and you're on your own with that car. And I don't know about you all, but I don't want to take a Dodge Demon to get repaired. Just don't. And the sad thing about these cars is if you don't drive them, pretty much any car, if you don't drive them, then things really start to go wrong. They start to rot, they start to get old. So now you're buying cars that are, you know, going on 2.5 years old that have been sitting. All of them have low mileage. I mean, you look at them, they're just like, you know, like really a couple thousand miles is a lot of mileage. So you want to buy the lowest mileage because it's a collector car, but then that car has been sitting for years, not being driven. And I don't know, I mean, has it been parked the whole time? Has it been up on blocks? Has the rubber all been maintained and changed? I mean, have they started it periodically? I mean, I don't know. My experience is when you have cars sitting around, they end up having problems. Things just go wrong, and they like to be driven. Cars last longer when they're driven. So I was not going to buy a Dodge Demon from 2018 with no warranty on it and then drive the hell out of it, which is my plan with this car. And I plan to milk every bit of that 36,000 mile warranty out of this car and get my money's worth. Which leads me to the second reason why I didn't want to buy a Dodge Demon. Because the limited production on that car, it means it's a collector's car. It was intended to drive people who want to collect cars to buy one. You wouldn't buy a limited production car to go out and race it, break it, and run it in the ground. Now, some people do, and they've got plenty of money, and they don't care. They can take this really rare car, and people are, frankly, depending on people doing that with those so that there's even less of those that exist, and it increases the value. The problem is, if you go to Autotempest.com and just do a search, there's a jillion of these things for sale. That means that this isn't really working out as the whole collector thing, and the prices have dropped significantly. So I'm not going to buy a car that's intended to be a collector's car that I can't drive and then have it just sit around in my garage all the time. And that's really, if you're going to pay that kind of money for one of these things, that, you know, you're not going to get that much more performance out of that than you would this, you know, why would you do that? So that's number two, and that's another reason why I didn't buy a Demon. Number three, I didn't buy it because it's meant for the drag strip. It's like going out and buying a car that is only meant to do left turns on a racetrack. This is only meant to do straight away for a quarter mile as fast as you can go, and the suspension is built for that. So if you go on the highway, you go on the regular road, and you try to drive that thing, it's not going to handle well. As a matter of fact, there's videos all over YouTube showing people that try to take them around a track and they end up off the track because the suspension's not built for that. It's much softer, it gives much more so that it can get traction at the racetrack. I don't plan to spend a whole lot of time at the racetrack, but if I ever do, I'm good living with this suspension or modifying my suspension if I wanted to. But I don't need to buy a Demon for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 more to do that, considering that I'm going to be on the road 99% of the time. The brakes on the Dodge Demon are 4-piston brakes. There's 6-piston brakes on the Redeye, meaning I've got better stopping power. They did that on the Demon because the wheels are smaller and you're not going to be doing mega high speed. And not that I'm going to go out on the highway doing 200 miles an hour in this thing. I can, and it would be really nice to have great brakes. But at 60 miles an hour on the freeway, when something bad happens and I need to stop this thing rapidly, I like to have great brakes. And I'll tell you, I've had a couple circumstances where I've needed to stop rapidly, and this gigantic car stops very rapidly. I mean, instantly, considering its size. It's pretty astonishing. Which takes me to number 4. Could have been number 1. Everybody, I think everybody knows this, although with the comments I've got on YouTube here, people telling me I should have bought a Demon, I don't think people realize this, but the 2019-2020 Hellcat Redeye, it's a Demon. It's the same engine, same supercharger, same, you know, air intake. It's got a different hood, obviously, but overall, it's now, you know, take this for what it's worth. It's an upgraded, detuned Dodge Demon, meaning I've got the bigger brakes, I've got a more efficient hood for high speed and for gas mileage, right? Maybe not for the quarter mile, but for what I'm using it for. It's a faster car. Top speed on the Dodge Demon is 168 miles an hour, and top speed on the Dodge Challenger Hellcat Redeye is 199 to 204 miles an hour. I have no intention on going that fast, but just knowing that I can, it's kind of cool. The Dodge Demon comes with a 200 mile an hour speedometer. This thing has 220, so it's kind of cool when people get in the car and they look at it and they go, holy crap, you got 220? I was like, yeah, because these things have gone over 200 miles an hour. Now, I've seen on YouTube Dodge Demons that have gone over 200 miles an hour, and they changed the suspension. They did a whole bunch of things to make that car be able to do that. But this thing, out of the dealership floor, can do that, and I've got the brakes to stop it when I need to stop it. Again, like I said earlier, the brakes are a big deal to me. So basically, I've got a Dodge Demon. I've got the chiller. I've got all the race options. I've got all this stuff. I think there's one or two little things that are missing if you were at the track, but nothing that's just going to suddenly make you not be able to compete. And you've got, you know, almost the same quarter mile time, almost the same 0 to 60 time. The big difference is the tires, the drag radials. These are easy things to go and add to this car, and I'm paying significantly less money for, in my opinion, a better car and a newer car. Number 5, this one's really simple. Everybody knows this, but you can't modify a collector's car, and you can't modify these things mechanically without voiding your warranty. So the way I look at it is, if you're buying a Dodge Demon, your warranty is going to be up anyways, so you can go ahead and modify that car. That's fine. But the problem is, if you modify that car and it's a collector's car, now you're taking a huge chance of hurting the value of that car long term if your intention is to keep that car until that car goes back up in value. Again, more on that in a little bit, but I don't know that that's going to happen. So if you buy a collector's car, you're just your hands are tied from being able to really do things you want to do, even when your warranty runs out or if warranty wasn't your concern. Number 6, the Dodge Demon is overpriced. I was not going to go pay $120,000 for a Dodge Demon right now. I believe that is an $85,000 car today, considering there's so many of them for sale and almost all of them have really low or no miles on them. That pretty much says that the demand does not justify the price. The supply is pretty much telling us that the price is too much, considering there's no real exclusivity at this point, considering if anybody wanted one, they can go buy one now, if you can just get past the person's flawed logic on the pricing of the car. So when I was thinking about buying this thing, I looked at Demons and I'm like, yeah, somewhere between, 85, which I don't believe that car exists on Auto Tempest, all the way up to $150,000. It looks like everybody's scrambling to try to get rid of their cars because they've lost so much. If they bought them at the markups back then, speculating, they've gotten creamed. If they got them at the dealership for 85, 90 grand and then have been sitting on them all this time, then I don't like that person, because that person reminds me of the people that used to go out there, or they still do this stuff, will go out there and some of you may or may not remember this, but bought the Cabbage Patch dolls off the shelves and then sold them out of their vans to people at 3-4 times the price, the price the store sold them for, and that wasn't cool. It wasn't good, wasn't kind to the kids, wasn't kind to the families. It suddenly made something that was meant for everybody to be exclusive to people who can afford it. And like, I'm a capitalist and I'm all for people making money on stuff, but when it hurts other people, I don't support it. And with the Dodge Demon, I feel like people went crazy and bid that price through the ceiling, priced everybody else out of the market for it, and then it ends up sitting there in somebody's garage doing nothing, when people like you, people like me, would have happily paid 85, 90, maybe even 100 grand, a modest markup. Not a greed-based markup, but a reasonable markup for something as exclusive as that. And we would have had a freaking field day in it. I would have put 20,000 miles on the thing. I would have driven the hell out of it. I would have taken it to the track. I mean, if I owned it, I would have used it. But these folks bought it, left it in their garage, and then sat around greedily waiting for somebody dumb enough to come along to give them a big fat payday. Listen, my goal is to make sure these people get stuck with these cars. The car's worth 85 grand. I think that's very fair. I think it's incredible. I think it's great that an American car would hold its value for 2.5 years, and that's what I think it's going to be worth. And if it comes down to, you know, maybe 90, that's cool. It's fair enough. But the bottom line is, at 120, 130, 140, 150, these people have lost their minds, and there's too many for sale for them to even justify that price at this point. And because so many were hoarded in their garages, like the toilet paper and the hand sanitizer during the coronavirus, and, you know, overpriced back to try to, you know, take advantage of people, I think these people are going to find out that they are going to be stuck with these Dodge Demons. So for that reason, I am not going to let somebody have a payday on my back. Not going to happen. Yes, I'll lose money on my Redeye, and it's all good, considering though that Dodge only made about 3,300 of these things in the wide bodies in 2019, and they'll probably make less in 2020. I'm thinking there's, you know, just not that many more of these out there right now than there are of those, and this is a hell of a lot cheaper, and in my opinion, just overall a better car, with a lot more capability and easily upgraded to be a Demon if I wanted it to be. With that said, folks, thank you for watching. Please like, please subscribe. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for helping me get 20,000 plus subscribers, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.